7 in environmental science. This week, we will be exploring the content in Chapter 7 from your textbook. If you take a look at the content page, there's some learning objectives on the first tab, some terms to know that I recommend you make flashcards of on the second tab, and then some supporting resources to help you understand some of what you're reading in Chapter 7. So there's some videos and some websites. This is a study table, so I recommend that you download that and fill it out. There's just a whole bunch of resources here to help you dive into this material. We're going to have a class discussion about genetically modified foods. So this is an article that I'd like you to read. GMOs haven't delivered on their promises or their risks from Science News. And then this is what I'm looking for in your posts. So whether or not you support the production and consumption of genetically modified foods, 3 different lines of evidence to support your stance, citing all your sources, and your initial post should be 200 words. And then I'm expecting your initial post to be done by Wednesday, and then I'm expecting you to check back into the discussion and respond to your peers by the end of the week. So that's Saturday at the end of the day. We have a laboratory this week about soils and agriculture. There's a bunch of tabs here, so they kind of got on top of each other. But the first part of this lab is you're actually going to get your hands dirty and you're going to follow this flow chart to determine the texture of some soils that you find maybe in your garden or your backyard. And then you're going to answer some questions about soil texture. And then I'm going to ask you to listen to this MIT podcast about climate change in agriculture. And then take a look at this activity, which shows some cold hardiness zones, some USDA cold hardiness zones and how they're changing over time with climate change. And then learn a little bit about agroecology and answer some questions. So in addition to those components of the week 7 module, which we typically have a content page, a discussion, a lab, you have the practice quiz and the graded quiz. We also have the leaf litter community lab report. So I want to hear about the invertebrate biodiversity of the leaf litter sample that you collected in week 4 and then analyzed in week 5. So you have feedback in the grade book for both of those labs. So check that out before you begin to write your lab report. This is due by Saturday at the end of the day. And then during week 8, we're going to have an exam. So this is an exam readiness check. It really is here just to make sure that you are ready with your technology. So this exam is going to be proctored using HonorLock. Remember, we had this HonorLock practice quiz in the week 6 module. If you haven't taken that yet, you should take it this week. And it's also just an opportunity to reflect about where you are in your learning and what you might need to do to get ready for that exam. The week 8 module is also going to open during week 7. And that's because I want you to have access to this exam information page. This is sort of like an exam review sheet. And I want you to have access to this content questions discussion. So this is a place where if you start preparing for the exam this week and you have some questions, this is where you should post them. So I'll be checking that to get you some answers to your questions. The exam itself won't be open until week 8, but I wanted to give you access to this module early so that you could look over the exam information and also this have access to this content questions discussion. Okay, well, as always, if you encounter any obstacles or have any questions as you move through the week 7 module, please reach out and have a great week.